From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White. Israel has approved a U.S.-brokered ceasefire agreement with Lebanon's Hezbollah, setting the stage for an end to nearly 14 months of fighting linked to the ongoing war in the Gaza Strip. U.S. President Joe Biden says there will be a deadline for when the fighting has to stop.
Effective at 4 a.m. tomorrow local time, the fighting across the Lebanese-Israeli border will end. This is designed to be a permanent cessation of hostilities.
Hezbollah says it accepts the proposal, but a senior official with the group says it has not seen the agreement in its final form. Canada's premiers will meet tomorrow to discuss U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's proposed 25% tariff on Canadian imports. Alberta's premier says that would devastate her province. Danielle Smith says she and the other premiers will discuss next steps with the Prime Minister.
We will express our concern to him about the ways in which we believe that the pressure points he needs to address in order for us to be able to get back to a productive relationship with the United States.
Smith says Trump's administration has been clear. It wants Canada to meet its NATO defense spending commitment and stop the flow of migrants and illegal drugs over the border. Convicted killer and serial rapist Paul Bernardo has been denied parole for a third time. The parole board says Bernardo's made some progress, but there's still serious concern about his risk to reoffend. Bernardo kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and killed 15-year-old Kristen French and 14-year-old Leslie Mahaffey in the early 1990s in southern Ontario. Quebec Premier François Legault is pressuring Montreal police to arrest everyone involved in last week's anti-NATO protests that turned violent. Montreal's police chief has said most of the participants wore masks, making it harder to identify them. A report commissioned by the Assembly of First Nations makes the economic argument for more infrastructure in First Nations communities. The Conference Board of Canada report says every dollar spent to close the infrastructure gap will contribute $1.82 in economic output. A shipping container full of teddy bears has been pulled out of the St. Lawrence River near the Port of Montreal. The container fell from a ship late Saturday and was found the next day on Montreal's South Shore. An investigation's underway to figure out what happened. An adjunct business professor at the University of British Columbia says he thinks estimates of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour bringing $157 million in economic impact to Vancouver are realistic. Jared Vaughn says it's unprecedented how local businesses are already preparing Swift-themed events and promotions.
Whether it's cruise ships or destination concerts like Taylor Swift, without question, it's helpful for the economy. It's pretty easy to see why they would make that prediction.
Swift will play 3 shows in Vancouver next month. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Brock Besser is expected to return to the lineup for the Vancouver Canucks tonight in Boston. He missed 7 games after taking a hit to the head in a game against the LA Kings. Montreal welcomes Utah in the only other game on the NHL schedule. The BC Lions are sending quarterback Vernon Adams Jr. to Calgary. The Lions get 3 draft picks in the deal, including Calgary's 9th overall selection next year. The 3rd Grand Slam of curling event of the season is underway in St. John's. Competition continues through Sunday. Claire Welsh has been named the new tournament director of the CPKC Women's Open, Canada's national women's golf championship. She says it's important for the event to keep moving to a different city every year to help grow the sport.
You know, there is just so much love for this event. It is such a cornerstone of golf and of sport in Canada.
Next year's Women's Open will be held at Mississauga Golf and Country Club in Mississauga, Ontario, in late August. From the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.